Good evening and welcome to the big story here on Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. My name is Chika Ago. Let's get started with the conversation this evening here on the big story. As we continue our coverage of the appeal court judgments in the governorship elections from different parts of the country, today we make a stop in Cross River State, where the Court of Appeal sitting in Lagos affirmed the election of Bassey Otu of the All Progressives Congress as the governor of Cross River State. A three-member panel of the court in its judgment had upheld the decision of the state's governorship election petition tribunal, which had in September affirmed Governor Otu's victory at the March 18, 2023 polls. Now, the court dismissed the appeal filed by the candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Sandy Ono, a professor, to challenge the decision of the tribunal delivered that month. The court also resolved all 20 issues raised in the appeal in favor of Mr. Otu of the All Progressives Congress, who now continues as governor of the state. Joining us right now from Cross River State to discuss the election tribunals and the response by residents in the state is Ayo Charles, who is a journalist with the Daily Trust. Thank you very much for joining us this evening on the big story, Mr. Charles. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you with us this evening. So let's get started with the reaction to the tribunal judgment on both sides. How is the PDP in the state reacting? How is the APC in the state reacting?
Of course, naturally, the opposition party, which is the PDP, they have not been very happy over the decision of the appellate court, which they had believed that they will sack Prince Otu as the governor of Cross River State. So the opposition party, even though they have not officially reacted from different polls from their officials,
Hello? Hello? It would appear we're having some connectivity issues with our guest. Let's try to reconnect with him again. Ayo Charles is a journalist with the Daily Trust newspaper, reporting out of Cross River, where an appeal court in Lagos affirmed the election of Bassey Otu of the All Progressives Congress as the governor of River State. And by the way, Bassey Otu was up against Sandy Ono, who is a professor. That's Professor Sandy Ono, a candidate. He was the candidate of the PDP. He, had been dragged to court, challenging his emergence as the governor of the state following the March 18 governorship election polls. Back in March, INEC said that Mr. Otu had polled 258,619 votes ahead of PDP's Professor Ono, who polled 179,636 votes. Right? That's what the governor, that's what the Independent National Electoral Commission has said at the time of the election, and that was, that was taken to the court to be contested. So let's talk to Ono. We have him back. I apologize. Let's talk to Ayo Charles. We have him back on air now. Mr. Charles, we apologize for the dropping connection there. So you were just talking to us about the reaction on both sides to the election outcome.
Okay, the APC in Cross River State, they have been very, very happy over the ruling of the appeal court, which sat in Lagos a few days ago. And as I expected, the opposition party, the PDP, they have not been very happy. And going by the various social media posts by the officials, it goes to confirm that they are not happy, even though officially the leadership of that party has not yet reacted to the appeal court.
Hello, Mr. Ono. Mr. Ayo, I beg your pardon. Mr. Ayo, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. So couple of things, so a couple of things raised at the tribunal, right, and also that the appeal court ruled upon. For instance, saying that the deputy governor of the of the party was not a member of the party at the time he was nominated, and the court said, look, this is a pre-election matter, and so we cannot rule on this. What exactly, was the PDP saying at the time about the deputy governor's membership of the party, and how that invalidates their tickets? That's Mr. Otu's tickets.
It is very unfortunate that PDP never mentioned this. PDP never mentioned this when they were embarking on the election campaign. So it was soon after the announcement that Prince Otu and his deputy have won the election. They became agitated and began to look for loopholes so that they can be able to go to EPT, Election Period Tribunal, to challenge them. So the issue of the deputy governor not having Nigerian passports or not being a member of the APC never came up. This is the same person that was majority leader in the state house of the and this man only joined the APC. So it was an afterthought that they came up with this matter at the election tribunal, which of course that tribunal has said it is a pre-election matter.
Right. I mean that's also that's a very interesting case, and quite interesting how they handled that, not bringing it up before time. But there's also the issue of the secondary schools that Governor Otu attended. Can you talk to us about that too?
Yes, the court mentioned that, and that one, of course, the appeal court has ruled that it is also a pre-election matter, which ought to have been resolved before the victory of the APC candidate.
So, I mean, in all of this, are you hearing the PDP or its members saying they are taking this to the Supreme Court to challenge it? Is that something that's already been touted within the party? Is it filtering out into the public space, Jets?
Yes, soon after the appeal court ruled in favor of Prince Otu, we have read in the social media that the PDP flag bearer, Professor Sandy Ono, has said he has rejected that ruling, and that in fact he is proceeding to the Supreme Court to further challenge the decision of the appeal court.
And what about the people of Cross River States? I mean, they are stakeholders in this matter. It ultimately affects them. When you speak to the people about this back and forth between the politicians in the court, what did they tell you?
You may know that Governor Bassi, 8802, had overwhelming votes, especially in the Cross River Southeast district where he hails from. So they have hailed the decision of the appeal court, which went in favor of their son, because, as you know, it was the turn of the Cross River South to produce a governor after Senator Lee Elimoke from the South, from the Central, finished his 8 years, and Professor Ben Ayade also finished his Ayade hail from Cross River North. So for 16 years, they had their turn. So it was the turn of the Cross River South to produce a governor. So for this reason, they had voted against Professor Sandy Ono, who is from the Cross River Central. So massively, they came out in favor of Prince 2, and they have overwhelmingly hailed the decision of the appeal court against Professor Sandy Ono.
Right. Well, these are very interesting matters, and we'll wait to see how this is ruled upon at the Supreme Court. But I want to say thank you very much for your time this evening, just sharing your insights with us. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. We've been speaking with Enoch Charles. Enoch Charles is Ayo Charles, I beg your pardon. Ayo Charles is a correspondent, a journalist with the Daily Trust newspaper, joining us from Cross River State to talk about the appeal court ruling in the state that upheld the election of Governor Bassey Otu, the candidate at the time of the All Progressives Congress, as the governor of Cross River State. He had defeated, amongst other candidates, Professor Sandy Ono, the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party in that election. And just to call out the numbers again, so you have a sense of what we're dealing with here. INEC had declared Governor Otu the winner of the election, saying that he polled 258,619 votes. 258,619 votes to defeat PDP's Ono, who had scored 179,636 votes. 179,636 votes. I should really put on my glasses. 179,636 votes. That was what the candidates of the PDP, Professor Sandy Ono, scored. But at the time, Mr. Ono had, filed a petition to challenge the results declared by INEC. And so from Cross River State, let's now move over to Nasarawa State, where an appeal court has also ruled on the election in the state, the governorship election in the state. And in reaction to that, the People's Democratic Party in the state has rejected the judgments given by the appeal court, which invalidated the judgment of the tribunal that had sacked Abdullahi Sule as the elected governor in the March 18 governorship election in Nasarawa State. The party, in a statement signed and issued by the chairman, Francis Orogun Lafia, said that it will approach the Supreme Court to seek the reversal of the appeal decision. That's the latest update that we have out of Nasarawa State following the appeal court's judgment yesterday. So the Nasarawa State People's Democratic Party are headed to the Supreme Court to challenge the judgment delivered by the appeal court. And so we'll get into that conversation in just a moment with our guest who joins us live from Nasarawa State for this conversation right here on Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. Stay with us. The big story is right back in just a moment.
Stay tuned to your Beyond the News station daily for our up-to-the-minute compact news bulletins from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., bringing you a wide range of local and international news from our news desk. Stay informed, stay updated on Radio Now 95.3 FM.
It's time. This December, hang on to your hat for a scintillating radio experience. Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos presents The Rejig, featuring Now Breakfast, Now Midday, Now Express, and Now Drive Time. Brace yourself. The jig will get you. Coming soon.
Be a part part of our online community on Facebook. Like our page on www.facebook.com/This Is Radio Now to join every conversation on air and get up-to-date news information on the go.
The issues are all around us, but who talks about them? Law enforcement breaking the law, property owners ripping off tenants, political office holders taking the electorate for granted, or is it the plague of recurring bad policies made by the government? These are the issues. Let's talk about these and more at the Round Table. Stay locked on to Radio Now 95.3 FM every weekday as we discuss these hot topics around us on the Round Table on Now Express. The Round Table, weekdays, 5:30 p.m.
In order to keep up with our culture of excellence and continue to bring you the very best of radio programming, we invite you, our dear esteemed listener, to share your concerns with us on any of our content and or broadcast practices that you consider unsatisfactory. You can reach us via WhatsApp on 0809 682 2595. That is 0809 682 2595. This is for us to get your feedback on our efforts to continue to build and maintain our relationship with you and also to serve you better. Thank you for choosing Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. This
Good evening and thanks for staying with us. This is The Big Story. My name is Chika Ago. Let's continue with our conversation into the election tribunal cases across the country as we make our way all the way to Nasarawa State, where the PDP has rejected the governorship appeal judgments delivered by the appeal court, which invalidated the judgment of the tribunal that has sacked Abdullahi Sule as the elected governor in the March 18 governorship election in Nasarawa State. Let's get into that conversation right now. Joining us from Nasarawa this evening is Abel Daniel, who is a journalist with The Guardian. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Mr. Daniel. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to have you join us this evening. So the PDP has rejected the ruling of the appeal court that invalidated what the election petitions tribunal had done. So the tribunal has sacked Abdullahi Sule as the governor of the states, right? But the appeal, but the appeal court has overturned that decision. Is it clear, why the appeal court did what they did?
I am not a lawyer, so I may not be able to give a legal whatever or explanation. But from the decision and the judgment of the appeal court, number one, let me start this way. The judgment was a summary judgment, and it was a unanimous judgment. But there was something dramatic that happened yesterday. It was a judgment delivered from a paper. It was a small sheet of paper. And that's something that's amazing. Usually a court of appeal deliver a judgment from a voluminous, paper, which...
Hello? Hello, Mr. Daniel, are you there? Hello? It would appear we've lost the connection with him. We'll try to bring him back on air again. Do be here with us. The phone lines can be sketchy sometimes. So that's the conversation anyway. That's the conversation, the update in Nasarawa. If you missed it, the Election Petitions Tribunal had... the Election Petitions Tribunal had sacked Governor Abdullahi Sule as the governorship as the winner of the governorship elections in the state, and declared David Ombogadu as the duly elected governor. Now, David Ombogadu is the candidate of the PDP. Abdullahi Sule is the candidate of the APC. Right, the election petition squad had sacked Governor Sule and declared Mr. David Ombogadu as the winner. But at the appeal court, that decision was reversed. So we're trying to get into the cause of the reversal, or to understand, what was said in court during the reversal. Obviously, we speak to lawyers to help us understand how the judges came to that conclusion, what they were thinking at the time, what they considered, what are some of the factors that came into play while the judges deliberated on that very important ruling. The PDP in Nasarawa State are not pleased. They're threatening, well, I mean, not threatening, it's well within their rights to go to the Supreme Court. So they are headed to the Supreme Court right now. So it will be interesting to see how the Supreme Court rules on this very important matter across the country. Election appeal cases have thrown up really interesting events, and we're happy to bring you all of the happenings here on The Big Story. Thank you very much for joining us again, Mr. Daniel. We apologize for the disruption in connection, but you were just talking to us about the fact that the judges came out reading from a piece of paper. Hello?
Yes, so I'm sure I am connected.
Yes, you are. You're live on air.
Okay, so by the time they'll be going there on Monday to collect, 5 days has gone out of the 14 days, and for them to take time to study that judgment will take some time before they now appeal to the apex. So already there are some reactions that are coming. That watch.
Hello, Mr. Daniel. Do you want to consider moving away from your location? It would appear that the network is spotty where you are. I'm struggling to make out what you're saying. Hello, Mr. Daniel. Yeah, I'm honestly struggling to make out what he's saying, and we really want to make sure that everyone listening can fully hear us and hear the conversation as we are keeping it up with our guest this evening. So we're going to try to see if we can reach him via any other means. Hopefully, we have a better connection to him. There's a lot happening here at one time, so we'll try to bring him back on air and have this conversation and hear what the PDP are saying is their reason for kicking back this judgment. Hear what the people in Nasarawa State are saying as regards this judgment. From Monday, from the breakfast show, we'll dive into the legal angles of these cases with our legal analyst. There's a lot for them to piece apart. There's a lot for them to piece apart, and hopefully we can get it. We can get you this conversation in due time. However, at the round table, there's an interesting development. I mean, well, not development per se, but there's an interesting thought that's been put out there as we speak, and this has been introduced by Yaga. Yaga Africa is a civil society organization, and Yaga is saying that the Independent National Electoral Commission should permit documents like international passports and national ID cards to be used during voting. Right, that's a very interesting thought that has been thrown out by Yaga. And so we'll talk about that at the round table. If that is something that you think is long overdue, or if you think we just need to figure out better ways of registering people to vote and collect their PVCs, right? Because, when we do our PVCs, we start at some point and then we end at some point before the elections. But what Yaga is saying is there's way too many problems associated with getting Nigerians to get their PVC. And so if a person has an international passport, or if a person has a national identity card, the NIN, well, let them vote, because we already know their identity. We know that they are Nigerian. These documents are only issued to Nigerians or people who are here legally, right? Who are legally recognized as Nigerians in the case of. Or who are legally recognized to be here in the case of the NIN. So we'll talk about that at the round table right here on the big story. But hopefully we do have Daniel back on air, just to be clear. Hi, Daniel. Is that you?
We can speak.
All right. Thank you very much for calling us back, Mr. Daniel. We apologize for the reception. So you were just talking to us about, the PDP studying the documents before going to court.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And so already the PDP is there, beginning to raise a kind of allegation that there's a foul play from there. So it's one of the reasons why with the judgment on that, they say these are some of the reasons they gave. Other reasons they gave were that almost all the defense they raised at the court against the appeal of the APC, all of them from number 1 to 10 was quashed.
All their cases, everything they raised was quashed by the courts.
Was quashed by the courts. So
right.
They are alleging that.
Just so sorry to interrupt you, but if you could please take that again. You say that the PDP is alleging what?
They are alleging that the fact that all their defenses were pushed suggests that there's a foul play.
Right.
Then number 2, they also allege that from all indication they have evidence, they are aware of the kind of inducement that took place and interference with the judgment before now. They had raised such allegation before now that they have suspected some exchange, some inducement to the judges before now. Okay, right. Are you with me?
I am with you.
All this put together.
Right. Mr.
Because of this.
Right. Right. Well, Mr. Daniel, I really would love to go a little further with you, but clearly the network is not quite on our side this evening, so I think this is a great place to leave it. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy to have had you on the show this evening. Abel Daniel, journalist with the Guardian newspaper, joining us from Nasarawa State to talk to us about the tribunal. We would try and, bring you the story proper, bring you the conversation on both sides. We'll speak to the actors here, just to keep with our promise of going beyond the news to bring you all the facts that you need to make informed decisions. So we'll have to redo the story again, with obviously a better connection down the phone line as we speak with our guests. Stay with us. Now let's move over to the round table and talk about that proposal by Yaga Africa. If you have your passport, if you have your NIN, you should be able to vote if you don't have a PVC. What do you make of that proposal? Or should we just improve, on how we get people to register for their PVCs? That's the question we're putting forward at the round table. The phone lines are the same, but here's a reminder: 0913 50953 and 0901 1111953. If you want to leave me a voice notes or leave me a text on WhatsApp, my line is 0809 682 2595. I'll talk to you in just a moment. Hang in there.
Stay tuned to Your Beyond the News station daily for our up-to-the-minute compact news bulletins from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., bringing you a wide range of local and international news from our news desk. Stay informed, stay updated on Radio Now 95.3 FM.
We are Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos.
Please, officer, now I know to make money today. I beg now. Hey!
Laolu! Today is the day you are going to pay for all your sins. something exciting out of the stables of Sanitary Pad Media Campaign.
I know well, wallahi. Since yesterday, her stomach, I dey pain now. I no sleep.
Yeah. A radio drama soap, My Period, My Pride.
This woman, come on for road. You know they look your back. Come on for road, this woman, huh? Come on for road.
My Period, My Pride, an advocacy tool for the provision of free sanitary pads for schoolgirls in Nigeria, powered by Sanitary Pad Media Campaign with support from MacArthur Foundation and Radio Now 95.3 FM.
My Period, My Pride, Season 1, The Story of Ife.
Every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Go to Financial Services Regulation and Coordinating Committee FSRCC tinyere National Broadcasting Commission NBC Johera Adoho obodo aka na ntị banyere ndị na-atụ mgbere ego iwu akwadoghị bụ Illegal Financial Operators IFO nke na-eme ka ndị mmadụ ghara inwekwa ntụkwasị obi ọzọ tinyere na ngalaba na-ahụ maka ego na Nigeria enweghị nkwudosi ike ha jizi ohere agba ndị ọha obodo ka ha kwụsị ịtụnyere ndị na-atụ mgbere ego enweghị akwụkwọ ikike inwekwara ike ime nchọpụta banyere akwụkwọ ikike ụlọ ọrụ dị otu a site n'akara webụsaịtị ndị a www.cbn.gov.ng, www.nicom.gov.ng, www.pencom.gov.ng, www.sec.gov.ng. maka inye mkpesa banyere gburugburu ego n'ụdị ọbụla kpọọ 07002255226 08002255226 maọbụ +234-817-665-6273. ozi a si n'aka FSRCC.
Stay tuned to your Beyond the News station daily for our up-to-the-minute compact news bulletins from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., bringing you a wide range of local and international news from our news desk. Stay informed, stay updated on Radio Now 95.3 FM. The issues are all around us, but who talks about them? Law enforcement breaking the law, property owners ripping off tenants, political office holders taking the electorate for granted, or is it the plague of recurring bad policies made by the government? These are the issues. Let's talk about these and more at the Round Table. Stay locked on to Radio Now 95.3 FM every weekday as we discuss these hot topics around us on the Round Table on Now Express. The Round Table, weekdays, 5:30 p.m.
Hi, thanks for staying with us. Good evening and welcome to the Round Table. My name is Chika Ago. My phone lines are available for you if you want to join the conversation. The conversation centers on the proposal by Yaga, a civil society organization, saying that INEC should permit documents like international passports and national identity cards during voting. They said this in a discussion paper on improving the integrity of Nigeria's voter registration. The organization said that not a lot of work has been done with respect to cleaning up the register because it still contains the names of people who are dead or may have permanently relocated, right? And this can be, attributed to the National Population Commission, the NPC, not having reliable data on these dead persons, or the Nigerian Immigration Service not having reliable information on citizens who have relocated. And so this inflation of voters register occurs due to political reasons and weak auditing process. And so they are saying that in order to raise the integrity of the register, must institute an interagency framework for the cleanup of the register, with INEC collaborating with the NPC, that's National Population Commission, National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics, the Nigerian Immigration Service, civil society, and academia. Everyone come together with a view to cleaning out the voters register, and that INEC should shift its focus from registration to management of voters register. We'll talk about all of this, as the conversation goes. But first, right, let's start with the proposal by Yaga. Let people, with national identity cards, let people with Nigerian passports, international passports, be allowed to vote. Good evening. Welcome to the round table. What's your name?
Hello, good evening. This is Shegun calling from Ikeja.
Shegun, happy to have you here. Welcome. Please carry on.
Actually, I don't think that's the best way to allow other form of identification to be using for because it brings we need to have a uniform identification during voting. But measures that need to be taken during the election. So, to me, what they need to do is that they need to just forbid the aspect of generating voters cards. For instance, there's a lot of people that decide of their voters card during the last election. Some people register they don't claim the voters card. Some people have problem of double registration and so on. I think they're supposed to make it open. Even for now, INEC offices where they produce that are not supposed to close. They're supposed to be doing let everybody have access card. Not the other voters card. People they can even take it to their vendor. If possible, if they really want everybody to participate on this election. So my own is that to use different kind of means of identification to bring voting, to bring a kind of you are giving room for ringing election, and at the end of the day, it standardize everything. And lastly, there are many people that is not even Nigeria who have a green passport. We have a lot of people who have voters card in a dubious way. So how can you count for that? But if it is voters card, they know that you come from this local government. You do that. So I think that's me. How can they be taking the election?
Shegun, what Yaga is saying is that INEC should move its focus from registration to management of the voters register, right? So if INEC is really just focused on managing the voters register, it just means that if you already have any form of identification and you let INEC know where you live, they would then tell you, well, this is where you vote. So on that day, because when you see your voter's card, it tells you, well, this is your polling unit number, right? This is your polling unit number. This is where you where you vote. If I leave where I am now and I go elsewhere, right, I have to tell INEC, look, this is where I live now. Yeah, and then INEC will effect that change on their system. So they already do it, right? They already do it. It's not a big deal.
So that's what they did last time. People, if you are having your voter card, you register from Kwara State, they ask you to go to the place. You want to vote in Lagos, you move the voter card to Lagos. It's the same thing. But if you just focus on registration, let everybody have to make the system to be simple, not complex. To let everybody have voter card. Nothing takes. So it's not hard to give people their own voter card.
Right.
Unless if they are using political influence that they deny some people. Like they go to North, see some young people, they have their voter card, they are even begging them to do. But when it comes to Southwest and East, it became an issue. So they should open door for everybody. By not giving us that door, they are denied. That is, they are denied them their inalienable rights. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shegun. Chief Udo sent in a text, and this says, good evening. I support Yaga Africa's proposal. We have unique NIN, including newborn babies. It has our real age and will eliminate child voting and ballot box snatching. We can as well vote from home via SMS or an app, and government can also make money through it. From Chief Udo. Okay, you know what? Too much now. Like, too many changes at once, right, Chief? I hear you. I agreed with, a part of your message, but that part about government making money through election, no, I'm not putting an extra naira in this government's pockets. The only thing they are getting from me is my tax and statutory payments. And any time that I am unfortunate enough to beat traffic lights and the Lagos State government comes to collect their money from me for beating traffic lights, anything outside of that, and let me tell you how much I don't like to pay. I don't beat traffic lights, to the best of my knowledge. Okay, 0913-5000-953 and 0901-1111-953. I just think it's a bad idea for a government to try to raise money through an election. I think it's I right off the bat, Chifudo, I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I don't want that happening at all. 0800968222595. If you want to leave me a text on WhatsApp. Good evening. Hi. Do you want to move away from where you are? It's a little noisy.
Can you hear me better now?
I guess a lot better. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. I agree with Yaga.
Yeah.
I also agree with like you said with last the message you read from Ezekiel Kudo. So I agree on the part of using the NIN. But even with the NIN, we still have people still falsifying their documentation even with NIN in present day Nigeria. So would the smart Alex still have their way in that? That's a question for another day if it is implemented.
But you see, this is what Yaga is saying, yeah? Let there be collaboration between all these agencies that collect identity, right? So they come together, they collaborate, and they can effectively clean up the data, right? So if we collect your identity through NIN, we collect your identity through the immigration, we collect your identity through WAEC or any other, educational body, right? We can now look at all of this, your identity across all of this, and if they don't tally, we just kick you out. So you decide.
You said that a lot of people are going to be kicked out. But when your social security number, it's from FBI, CIA to anybody that wants to track anybody that has committed a crime. Just your face alone, they will send it to the database, and the database will bring you out and give you, if the person is an American, the social security number. If it's not American, but he has a record with them, the person will be identified. So I don't know why our agencies cannot synergize so that they can get the best results. But then again, maybe it's part of the plot itself.
What plot? Why? There's no plot in my
let another person talk, please.
I agree with you. Let's not go into that too. Hello?
Yeah, I think
Kenny, good evening. How are you, my brother?
I'm fine, I am fine.
Yeah, I did can't pay.
My brother, you see, I'm a man of small words. I don't talk too much. But let me just deposit what I have.
Now are you?
In our own climate, Nigeria, technology is always like mirage to us. But our people, they know the relevance, but they'll just make it clumsy, make it cumbersome, make it as if we are alien or something is alien to the whole universe. But other countries, in fact, they are even upgrading, changing from one version to another. But we have not even started any version, let alone changing to another version. We just remain there, dogmatic way of doing things. You understand? Old way of doing things. You understand? When you want to introduce it, no, there is no network in my village. There is no this in my village. They know what they are doing because they don't want the people eyes open. They will give you, look at when you say electronic election, to vote electronically. Then we say, in my village, no network. But you normally send 50,000 to people there in the village. But the network will affect the, what's it called? The election, whatever result. It will affect this. They will give you all plain face. And these people that travel all over the world, they attend all conferences. Many of them attend Zoom meetings. But when it comes to them, say their people don't know, and they prefer putting their people backward because of their selfish interest, because of what they stand to gain, so that their people will not be able to ask them for accountability. They make everywhere dark for them.
Okay, Kenny,
they
let
enjoy
us talk.
cooking rice for their people. Jollof rice. Just be giving your people jollof rice.
Okay, you know what? See, the aim, right? The reason why we want to better our elections is because we want to be able to do away with the crop of politicians who do these things that are obviously riling you up.
Who is going to make the law now, my brother?
So now we're
2022 election, what happened?
But look at the sort of changes that were made to the Electoral Act. Come on, Kenny, you can't say that was not.
It has done more harm than good, self. It's not that they left it that way.
I disagree with you,
Kenny. Look at. You make small changes.
Kenny.
You put. Chika, let me tell you something now. Are we supposed to, if there is truly, because they notice all these flaws, all these problems, that was why they say let us make adjustments on the electoral law. Isn't it? Now they now create a big ditch. Everybody is falling inside that ditch now. So what is the importance of adjusting electoral law when it does not really pass or convey the needed thing they want? Because Yega Africa and other CSO and other citizens, we are expecting something. By the end of the day, they told us nothing we were expecting. Maybe like that too. What is more than Bajue? Is that one not greater than Bajue and 419?
Kenny,
we were expecting something.
I don't agree
At the end of the day,
I don't agree with
our judiciary said that thing we expected. It not be like that too.
Look,
this one, this is what I call the more you look, the more you see.
Two different things. One was the law, one was a guideline, Kenny. When the judiciary said, "Oh, this could not have been," or this was a promise, but we can't hold them. We can't say, "Oh, this thing failed because these people didn't keep their promise."
What did they make us to understand in that law?
Kenny, one was a guideline, one was the electoral law. Can you give me one instance where any tribunal in the country ruled outside of the Electoral Act of 2022?
My brother, who gave guideline? What gave rise to guideline? Because they said the independent. The independent this thing, they have the power, they have everything.
Again, but look, right? But even then, there were so many things that INEC could not do because they would have contravened the dictates of the Electoral Act of 2022. So again, I'm asking you, was there anything that the courts ruled upon that was outside of the Electoral Act? Because the only time they said you can't hold INEC over the failure of this thing, or you can't hold INEC for the failure of this thing over a guideline, is because it was only a promise, right? And so I'm asking, was there ever a time the court said, well, even though the Electoral Act said this, well, we cannot hold them to it? No. So one was a guideline, one was a law. It's important for us to.
What gave rise to the guideline? It's the electoral law now.
Hold on. But you see,
but the same electoral law says, let me just, before I forget this line of thought, the same electoral law says that INEC can decide whichever means to transmit the election, but we're able to get that one.
So my point, say again, right, Kenny, I'm not here to hold brief for any of the lawyers that ruled on this case. I am just asking you, Kenny. I'm just asking you, at what point did the courts rule outside of the Electoral Act? If you have a place where you can say at this point they went outside the Electoral Act, take it up with them. But again, we understand one was an Electoral Act, one was a guideline. I guess the question, the thing we can all say here is, or the fight that we should be fighting is saying to INEC, maybe stop with the guidelines if we can't hold you to account over them. Good evening.
Good evening, Chika.
Yeah. Yeah, go on, please.
What I believe is this. If the infractions that have been made into the Electoral Act were addressed accordingly, the case would be saying that we should come up with another set of solutions. But our problem is implementation of the law, execution of the law, in the sense that these people have been identified that stole ballot boxes. People were seen on social media threatening people about the elections. What has the law done about it? If something was done about those people, they were prosecuted and they were punished for what? Then they will be confident in the mindset of the electorate, and I think that elections will go on fair and That's all I have to say.
Thank you. And, just in response to that, recently a couple of people who engaged in electoral malpractices were arraigned in courts, right? Yeah, so there's something happening with respect to that. Just wanted to respond to, just put that out there.
If we can see more results, and also some of the big weeds, the big fishes, if you know what I mean, if they were punished as well, it would be a deterrent for others. That's my own take, TGIF, have a wonderful weekend. Don't do it.
And you too. I wonder if anyone's got weekend plans that can, that can fit me in. Let me know. 0913-5000-953 and 0901-1111-953. Chief Udo has sent in another message. Chief Udo said any guidelines INEC chairman gave before election becomes a law for that particular election. The reason why we have too many litigations after each elections is because INEC has failed to do the needful. INEC even makes it difficult for people to get certified documents to prosecute their cases. INEC, I don't think that any statements made by any guideline made by the chairman will become law. That's not how we've made laws in this country. Come on, an INEC official's guideline cannot be law. What kind of country are we building? INEC, Chief Udo, I don't agree with that. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening.
Yeah, Kenny. Kenny.
Go on.
Yeah, but let me rush. You see my airtime got finished.
Yeah, sure.
Chika, during voting, accreditation, how to count, sorting and what have you, are they in the electoral law or in the guideline?
They're in the electoral law. Have you seen the Electoral Act of 2022?
I've seen it now.
Okay,
so I'm asking, all those things, are they there?
They're all in there. They are all in
there. They not lifted it to the guideline to simply just like a summary of everything. The guideline just like summary of everything.
No, that's not what
the
guidelines
are. You said
that's not what the guidelines
are. Guideline is a summary of the bulky something.
The guidelines, no, the guidelines for INEC were, look, in this election, right? This is what the process will be. Right, in this election, right, this is what the process will be. But the processes themselves are built on an already existing framework. Yes. So it's like saying, look, before you make calls, you have to buy a recharge. You have to get a recharge card. Yeah. Whether you go to a vendor and get that recharge card, or you use your bank app to get that recharge card, the foundation of making a call is that you need to get a recharge card. See the recharge card as the law, and then see the guidelines as buying recharge card from the vendor or buying from your app. And sometimes it could be that, look, maybe somebody robbed one service provider store and they took away plenty recharge cards, and then they said, okay, for this period though, we are not going to allow anybody recharge their phones by using paper cards from a vendor. If you want to recharge your card, go and do that from your app. That's how you look at, I hope that analogy makes sense. That's how, I assume you would look at a guideline and the law, because one is built on the other.
But the electoral law now gave right or gave leave to INEC to stipulate, or whichever way they want to do their thing. Whichever way they want to transmit, or whichever way they want to transmit the election, whether by sorting it or whether by manual collation. It gave rise to it.
It did. But you see, I think that what we have a problem with here, right, is that we cannot hold INEC, over what we can't hold them to, to ransom over what happened.
So the framers of the law, what was their intention? To create lacuna?
No, that's not. I don't agree with that. But here's what I do think, though. I think that the conversation we want to have going forward is whenever INEC gives us guidelines rather, that do they agree that we can use these guidelines as as bargain? I don't want to call them bargaining chip, but if we can say, look, these guidelines, so we are going to treat them like as law, and we can hold you in a court of law over this. We are going to treat it as a contract.
The issue there is,
if you can't hold INEC over the guideline, then there's nothing we're doing.
Let's simplify everything. The guideline is not electoral law. They should keep. We don't want anything like guideline again.
Exactly.
We don't want in this country. We don't want guideline. Don't give us guideline. Let us use that thing. Verbatim to verbatim. What the electoral law. What to what? Because when you listen to the framers of the law,
I think that's a sound argument.
When you look at the framers of the law, they came to television. They were explaining all these things to us. All this our legislature. They did town hall meeting. They explained the processes to us. They explained how this thing will go. The judiciary were not the judiciary. They are not the one making the law. Our legislators, they make the law. They explain to us how the law will go, how the whole processes will go. That was why people were so enthusiastic to go and make their the voters card, do everything. People close their shop, so many things, close their business. People told their staff not to come to work just because the way they explained that thing, we understood it. Now judiciary now interpreted it upside down. So who is fooling who now? You can see no reason why you will explain the process of solving this mathematical expression. When you now come to the marking scheme, the marking scheme is now having another thing. But I follow that process. You have betrayed me now. They told us that thing, of which the legislature, they were so G3 that time that they explained the whole processes. Mike Igini was there, they explained everything. The legislator, Lawal was there, you know. Now they were not telling us, they don't know the difference between transmitting and transferring and this and that. You listen to Lawal at that time now, I said this man does not know the difference between transmitting. He was not saying, I don't even know what they are even talking about. What is transmitting and transfer? But they were the ones that put it there. Does it mean these people they don't go school?
Well, Kenny, thank you very much for your thoughts this evening. At the round table. Look, again, I still believe that the best fix for all of this is to have a conversation about what our expectations of INEC are, right? Otherwise, we're not going anywhere, really. Good evening. Hello.
I listened to the last caller.
Yeah.
My name is Josh.
Hi.
And I agree with him totally. He tried. See, just imagine that you have a lecturer teaching you in school. After teaching you and all that, and he taught you with a marking scheme. You understand? Then at the end of the day, when it was time to one person will now say, okay, I don't need a marking scheme. I don't need the former lecturer's marking scheme. Then he will not be the one to go and set the exam. Another person will take the exam. After setting the exam, the person will now mark the exam with another different marking scheme. That's exactly how our INEC and the judiciary, in fact, our legislators and judiciary, that's exactly how it is.
I don't agree with that analogy, to be honest.
No, I'm just telling you now. That's how
I hear you. I'm just saying I don't agree with you, but I'm just saying, I hear you.
Okay, fine. It's okay. That's your opinion. So, but that's the thing. The point is that INEC is not even, in fact, in as well as they call them independent, they're not even supposed to be in this whole arrangement. The major people in this arrangement should be the legislators. So now, what we should be looking at, since they're the ones that make laws, you understand? Let it not be like that lecturer that would teach. After teaching, another person will set the exam and mark it with a different marking. Everybody will get F. You understand? So, but the point is that the legislators should craft their laws in straight and simple English. That's just what it's supposed to be. It's not far. That is, you see, it's only in Nigeria that you will tell the whole world, that you will transmit through IREF, you will do this, you will use BVAS. BVAS, that is a world-class invention, this and that one, that, that is to transform the whole electoral process. At the end of the day, some states didn't use BVAS.
No.
Some states didn't use BVAS.
No. Which states did not use BVAS?
Oh, is it not here that we were seeing that some states, what they call it? Okay, what consists of our voting? Some states, is it anything like double registration inside BVAS? Haven't they talked about all that? What consists of our voting? It's not because of there's no way of checking with beavers. That's what causes overvoting now. So some states they didn't use beavers to accredit them. They didn't use beavers to.
Well, I cannot say. I cannot say if anyone. If there are any places in the country that didn't use
was
beavers.
INEC reluctant? Why was INEC reluctant to bring the beavers for what they call it, the opposition parties to go on with their case? How can they produce the beavers?
Look, all these questions I cannot answer. Hopefully, we get INEC.
But that's what we're saying now. That's what we're saying. If at the end of the day, we put all our trust on INEC, and they claim that they will transmit through beavers or they will accredit through beavers, at the end of the day, they are jittery to bring the same beavers for people to prosecute whatever issue that they find one.
Josh,
what are we talking about?
Josh, thank you. I have to take the news now, okay? But it's always a pleasure chatting to you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, my brother.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
All right, and that's the roundtable this evening. We'll do this again Monday from 2 p.m. Join me. Have a good evening.
Across Nigeria, Africa, and the world, this is Radio Now News.
Thanks for staying with us. This is the news summary at 6 p.m. here on Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed the election of Uba Sani of the All Progressives Congress as the governor of Kaduna State. Delivering the judgment